Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to Team Fortress TV. We're continuing on with our qualifier coverage here. It's going to be the Autumn 22 season as we get into it, but first we have to see which teams are going to be here. And this is now the deciding round. The winner tonight goes straight into Prem, I believe, and the loser immediately folds or goes into Div, whichever they prefer to do.
One of those two.
And yeah, it's Trust the Process versus 2038, who will probably be calling the Frenchies, I imagine. I'm Dave, joined by JMaxchill behind the camera and DuMmTm alongside me. How you doing, bro?
Well, for the sake of simplicity, if we want to call them the Frenchies, it sure would help if the other team gets into Prem, because then there's no confusion about which team we're talking to. For fans or recent Premiership, their countrymen here want to join them, and I mean, looking at rosters later as well, you'll see that you might be surprised to even see them having to qualify, but their team folded last season that most of them were on, were for fans stayed alive just fine, so they got in the easy way. They have to go in the hard way around, and Trust the Process already having a good performance on the belt from earlier down the week is looking pretty solid. A bit shaky on the 5CP map, really strong on a bagel. We'll see how it all works out now on two 5CP maps.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see neither team, actually, if we're going to go down the map picks and bans. Neither team decided to fancy, going over to the King of the Hill. I think Product was first banned by Trust the Process, and then the Frenchies banned Bagel. So yeah, neither of them wanted to play King of the Hill. We're going to end up playing Process, Snake, and a Granary Decider here. So some interesting maps. I think the Frenchies are always a bit of a scary threat in Granary, but with them being, I imagine, rather large favourites tonight, it might not even get to that.
Maybe. You never know. Crazier things have happened. A lot of teams have folded due to losing in Prem qualities before, so we'll see what happens out of the games tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow would be the other game, that is CSG up against Swift, I believe. So do stay tuned for that. Don't forget to follow to not miss that as well. It should be some fun matches for sure. Like I mentioned already, Trust the Process had a pretty interesting performance early down the week, right? It was a bit of a rough time on 5CP, sorry. It came out on top, had to work very hard for that, and to fear a lot actually losing. They were playing from down for quite a while. Had some people tell me that they were surprised it took so long to get to the winning side of that match for them, but still beat cool and good vibes now as a different team. And very handily so on Bagel, which I guess makes the reasoning for banning that one on the Frenchies side a lot more justifiable, right? It's the roster you might not know much about, but if you've seen that KOF game, then you'd be right to be terrified of that.
Yeah, for sure. That was pretty damn one-sided. I mean, it's always, when you play in a new map, I don't think either of these sides will have played an official on it before. But when you are playing a new map, you're expecting kind of, more one-sided results. One team perhaps just puts a little bit more work in, and I think, we think of like new maps in the past of being something that advantages kind of mixed rosters, but I actually think it can sometimes advantage established rosters because they can put more time into practicing. When a newer roster like these Frenchies is working out all the simple stuff on Process, a team like Frick the Process can move on to like the Bagel and stuff, but we're not going to be playing that tonight. We're going to be playing fairly standard maps. Do you think there's really anything to draw from these map picks in terms of advantage for either side?
I don't really know. It's not a lot to go off, I suppose, yet for both these teams. Of course, it's I can't even say early in the season, right? I think they didn't even start yet. Process is kind of a safe pick, I think, for everyone pretty much, right? If you have the confidence on it, that's fair, but you gotta assume the other team certainly kind of knows what they're doing on this one too, right? I don't think that's ever the biggest pick to go for these days. We'll see if it works out in the end. Snakewater, I mean, it's certainly also been around forever at this point, but I mean, it has the polarizing last point, right? And if you can't figure out something quick, if the game ever slows down on Snakewater, then you're in it for the long haul. It's not going to be looking pretty at all. We'll see they have the confidence at least to go for that, but we'll see if it actually pays off for them here on the French side. For what it's worth, I mean, it comes to the sniper stalemates as well, I don't know who really has the upper hand on this one either. That's going to be terrifying. I think players on Trust the Process already had some big snipes the last time they played. Got to be worried about this one here. Granary Decider is just kind of what's left at that point, right? It's Granary. Gotta really make sure that everything works out in the end. I was surprised they didn't ban it to be on Untrusted Process. That's really the most surprising thing. It was a rough going for them. They won it, yes, but it wasn't one that would make me go optimistic into it, and I think safe to assume harder team going forward.
Yeah, and I think if you look at this Frenchie's roster, the players you've really looking out for and fearful of are probably going to be Elacore and Korbak. I think those are the two guys who are like really standout players. I mean, Nevo's been at the top of the scene as well, but yeah, there's a lot of very, very good scouts across a lot of these Prem teams. But I think, in terms of standout players, Elacore, Korbak, if they're anywhere near their best, they might be a little bit rusty, but if they are anywhere near their best, they have been two of the best players on those classes before in the Premiership divisions. So, definitely ones to look out for and players we probably want to see in Prem.
Yeah, certainly. There's a lot of talent on this roster. There was some worry as well if they could get Patchouli in time. It looks like he could step in here after missing the pre-game scrum for the Frenchies. They have Patchouli back on the medic tonight as well. Been a minute for Amarok as well to be on top of the scene as well. Has been playing, yes, but just a little bit more loosely than everyone else. Is also towards like Div 1. I mean, man's playing every class, right? Might as well take a funny like off-class season sort of in Div 1 like he has, and then to see how it goes. Now returning once again. Scout as good as always. Man played like 3 classes in Prem at this point. He can just do it, I guess. There's a lot of talent on their squad, but we've seen Trust the Process already as well just a few short days ago, and while it isn't sort of, as many Premiership Players medals, I suppose, on their roster as well, there's still quite a lot of experience on the squad here between all the 6 of them here. I guess really the standout less familiar name for some people might be Pandemic, but even that guy, right, might only be not on people's radars just because he's been moving, I guess, really.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously got phenomenal DM and is scary to face down in those tight situations. I think Hemp as well is someone who's really kind of stood out as a kind of top sort of disciplined pocket scout, one of the best in terms of playing that role. So the scouts, I think, are a big thing for this F the Process team, and also I think just generally their team play, they've mostly stuck together for quite a while. I've had a couple of players in and out here and there, but every time I've seen them play, they seem to have just got a little bit better in terms of their coordination and team play, and they're also a team that often improves towards the end of a season, so whether they're going to be able to cut it in what could be a pretty tough qualifying game here, we'll have to wait and see. But I think at the end of the day, even if they don't get through here, they'll probably happily play Div 1.
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? I remember like 2 seasons ago talking to Dowie when they went into Div 1 play. Oh, they weren't even in Div 1 playoffs. They had 1 game left to go. That could have gotten them 4th if they win. And he was like, "Oh, god damn it, I don't want to play playoffs this season." But watch us just like make grand finals and then just get rolled. And that's exactly what happened. Like you said, they can turn up if they need to. They don't want to lose if there's a chance they can win. And they have the talent to make that happen. This is certainly one you don't want to lose at all. As tough as Premiership is, we know they're up to the challenge here. This is a lot of talent on the roster. Jordy is certainly the one I would look forward to seeing as well. Man's very on and off all the time. Doesn't have all the time in the world to play, but I mean, we've seen him both in the Nations Cup, I believe, as well as just the past few seasons on and off on this roster as well. And he still got it. Slash, obviously coming now with some Premiership experience back it down to his boys. And like you said, this is it's like a squad goals team, right? Just like 10 or so people that like rotate around each season until it's eventually something fits, and they always find a way to make it work. Alex has been kind of the staple demo man ever since Mac became too good for them, so to speak.
Yep. Or he had friends who were slightly better than these guys. Either way.
That too.
Whichever way you want to look it up. But yeah, I mean, I think looking at the qualifiers so far, it's got to be good for the scene, right? Because I think a lot of people were worried when we saw basically no one turn up at LAN. Only really 3 kind of Premiership level teams.
And now we have double the lands.
Yeah, people were worried, but yeah, most of the teams from last season are stuck around. We've got a few new challenges. I mean, even whoever loses here going to be going into Div 1, and that's looking pretty stacked. There's looking like
Div
quite a
1's
few
looking
threatening teams
terrifying.
there. Yeah.
I mean, we saw them in the Nations Cup as well. The Poles are basically all together in Div 1 right now. That alone is terrifying enough. But then you have to consider, Div 1 is so stacked right now. A team where, let me double check as well, Loopy, Bud, Calling, and Radsley, all main classing is in Div 2 right now.
Damn.
So there's something happening in Div 1 this season. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if these teams are necessarily. I guess they could settle with it, right? Frenchies probably wouldn't be above off-classing necessarily to play Div 1, but the other guys, they've been in Div 1 Grand Finals before. They could go for the run back, I suppose, if they have to, but they were let into qualify. They were let loose to rain hellfire upon one of the qualified teams already. Who's to say 6 French guys can stop them now?
We'll have to wait and see. Looks like we have 12 in the server, but people are just taking a little bit of time. And yeah, as you say, Patchouli has managed to get himself in the server. He wasn't here for the warm-up. I think both of the teams actually lost their warm-up pretty convincingly against games they perhaps wouldn't have expected to get rolled quite so hard. So sometimes that's not a good sign, but at the end of the day, warm-up doesn't mean too much.
Yeah, that's a discussion that came up as well, like, recently, right? What warm-up would you rather have, right? The one where you kind of just, like, get rolled a little bit and, need to pull yourself together, or just an easy one that gets you all in high spirits. We'll see if taking an L before the game is getting everyone as serious as they have to be to now perform to the best of their abilities here. France with 2038 against Just the Process on the red team, going up against each other to get a slot in Premiership.
Yeah, not too much happening right at the start. Both just getting a little bit of position going. Alex wants to get across the point, but he's being zoned out by Elacor. Takes a ton of spam, going down very low and picked up by Callback as well. Gives opportunities for the Trust the Process boys, but they're not going to take them. They're going to throw themselves in. They get Patchouli down, but that's about it. But at least they've kept Dowie alive so they can escape, and despite giving up the mid, they will have quite a large human advantage, basically full.
It's a step forward for the Frenchies here, even with a step back on the medic, of course, but it really just comes down if they can stop them getting into mid at all, right? A good 4 certainly makes this whole situation look a lot better for 2038. Dowie has the full Uber. You don't want to use it to mid if you can avoid it. We'll see what comes out of it in the end. No funny off classes, of course, on any side. Would be an awkward moment to do that. Maybe a sniper, I guess, but realistically right now, they're trying to do this the old-fashioned way, which is just rushing the flank. There we go. They found one guy not leaving early enough, and that's already a nice early kill here. Kovic still committed forward on the sewer entrance. He can't quite get Jolly. That's not too big a deal, because it's just stopping so much of the push right now.
Yeah, Callback just solo. Well, I mean, he had the help of his scout, but mostly just putting so much pressure down that they can't even walk in. Dowie is now moving himself in. He's got himself to the health pack nice and safe, and Patchouli's not quite at Uber yet. So the Frenchies are just going to back out to safety. Scar went very, very low there, so he couldn't really contest, and they've just got themselves back safe on the high ground for second, and it's going to settle down into an even Uber situation.
Still keeping the point red for now. It's a slow step forward here in this map, as it is can be slowed down quite a bit if you know what you're doing, and if the other team just doesn't dare big enough. So it's just coming down to who feels the need to do it more, who feels the pressure of the time a little bit more. You'd assume it's a team on the midpoint, but for now, hard to say this early. Right now, just Frenchies trying to hold flank, but one of them just got caught by surprise. Callback so valiantly tries to hold the flank. Didn't realize someone's already snuck past him. Slash the backlines. Can't get much more than that. Has to take an out to his countryman Scar, but they are in on this Trust the Process anyway. They took it open here. They took a chance, but Jordy might be taken a little while. Stuck in the sky. Tries to jump out, but just body blocked into the skybox. Yeah,
both soldiers down now is going to give an opportunity for the Frenchies to try and bust through choke. Alex is trying to lock it down, but he doesn't have any help to help spam it, so his scouts are just going to back out with him. He's actually going to get launched in the air and destroyed by Elacor. Maybe a bit of luck in that, maybe a bit of misfortune in terms of, landing above that rock. But either way, it's going to count as an air shot for Elacor, and Callback's in as well. He's onto him, gets a ton of damage down onto him. Both the soldiers are in. Now, Callback does get cleaned up by Pandemic, but the moving is still going forward for the Frenchies.
Yeah, there's no slowing down just yet, at least until this point gets capped here. At this point, numbers are even and there's no clear advantage in sight. They got what they wanted Nice little kill for Patchouli as well to sneak away another kill on the medic stats, I suppose. It certainly will look nice in the future on the stats, I'm sure of it. But you want, first of all, to get to the Prem so you can have your stats be recorded at all. JMax doesn't care how good you are if you know the Premiership after all. We'll see. They stand a chance on last. However, trust the process. They've been here before. It's in the name, of course, right? You gotta just trust the last hold now. NG up, Sniper up, Pandemic on the Rifleman. Trying to make this difficult. We'll see. Maybe if someone off classes here. Never certainly would we want to go Sniper in these kind of situations, but for now, no time to do that. Just gotta see if they can maybe sneak something really old-fashioned way and somehow get past these off classes.
Yeah, they're very disciplined at the moment. They're very suspicious of just the constant spam of pipes coming in, but Korvac launches himself in, does get cleaned up by that level 2 Centric, and doesn't really get anywhere near Doey this time, and no one else was really to support him, so never actually picking up Geordie for what was going for what I imagine would have been an attempt at a counter-sack. But either way, soldier down a piece. Opportunity perhaps for Korvac to spawn up on some kind of off-class. We'll have to wait and see. At the moment, it looks like he's sticking to soldier for now. No one's gone back, as he rolled out super fast back in the fight. So at the moment, yeah, time is ticking down. You know, a 5-minute clock to work with, so they'll have at least one more attempt here probably before moving on to something else.
Well, that attempt is immediately shot down as well. It's gone. Barely could leave the roller door. Korvac can't even get through the door in the first place, and with that, it's not even over yet. Elako tries to take a fight to distract everyone in lobby. Just walked it by soldier. That man might die, but 3 down for the price of one singular soldier in return. That is not a trade worth taking. Do not accept this trade offer if they send it to you. This is just only working out for one of these two teams, and look at that, taking not just these kills easily, but also the second point, and they're not even done yet. Bombed by Scar, swiftly denied once again. Truly with no one to heal in the middle of the point, has to just see if they can somehow get out of here, at least get a good exchange going, but everyone's so slow to connect back to the beam. Korvac down as well. This Uber very reluctantly gets used, kind of on both sides, I suppose. Can't even get the beam back to Jordy, but they still have Sayad after all is said and done. Or do they? Never on the backlines, cleaning up everything.
Never doing so much work. Hemp does eventually clean him up, but he's made space for Elako to go forward. He picks ALX up. That's a demo man pick and going to allow the Frenchies to continue roaming forward. Amos sees that they're back out to last, and they want to move on. They've only got the 2 players here to defend the final point. They're already on it, just 3 players stacking on it. And there we go. Very, very easy for the Frenchies. Just absolute smooth transitions, and they go 1 up.
I was so caught by surprise by Neville just being behind. I guess he wanted to threaten the backhand, but he couldn't really go for it because people spawned him immediately in the middle of the fight. Turns out, who cares? He's just out DM'd 2 people in a row, and at that point, it doesn't matter what happens on it. He's just taking the fight back 2 seconds, and that helps out the impressive team severely. 2038 with a lead. Took a while to get there, but maybe they can extend from here into the mid-fight. Slow start, awkward one for Alex as well. The Nemoman's just weak early on in the fight, forced back quite a bit. Frenchies with a lot of headspace to work with here.
Yeah, Korvac and Scar were both very, very fast. They've actually lost Korvac and Elakor for it, but it's traded out not bad. No explosive damage coming out for Frick the process, so they're just going to have to back up to second, play around their scouts, play around their hit scan, but at the moment they'll just have to settle for that. Not the kind of mid-fight they wanted, but could have got a lot worse after the early aggression that the Frenchies put in.
And 2 mid-fights to Dubkis for Frenchies here, and they're not done just yet. Force comes through. Medic might be committed with that one, but only really as a threat, right? Looks like a push, but it's just a force in the end. Scar goes down, everyone else falls back real early. And Dowie just used for nothing. Suddenly it's looking so much better for 2038. Immediately rotate around the other way as well, coming in from the flank side. Amarok down early. Korvac takes a bit of a beating there, but gets behind the tower just in time before any more things can hit him. Never mind! Everyone went back to tower, and Slash just sits on the flank, spams them down from where they came from. They didn't consider that option at all when they left the PC area. Unfortunate one, they got spaced really nicely here. Just one small mistake will cost them safe position, and if they don't have safe position, they don't want it.
They did hold on to that Uber, though. They didn't feel the need to pop it. They wouldn't have been very useful in terms of saving Korvac, I imagine. So it means they do have an opportunity. They're 6 players up now. Korvac just about waiting for a buff. Actually, they've taken their time here. So Dowie is up to 100%. They're paying a lot of respect to these Fudge the Process guys, and not moving. They're going to have to work their way into some kind of sack play to maneuver another Uber advantage at the moment. It looks like it's Scar wanted to make something happen. Bit of a bait, allows Korvac to get in behind, but he's cleaned up so rapidly by Hemp and Nevo gets picked up as well in IT, I think that was.
Yeah, they're not even done there yet. They push up, threaten from the flank a little bit, get some space going on the combo. DuMmTm, Scout trying to get some space forward here for Jordi to be the one cleaning up the damage. Can't really get far enough, not while all of the Frenchies are looking at it just nicely. Will not work out. One spawner whizzing on the blue team here for a little bit longer than the blue spawners are gone for already up right now. I'd be surprised if you can really use that one. For now, they just want to slow things down a little bit more and just stabilize the situation. They have not been playing a very fast game on the French side just yet, so that would come out of nowhere to some extent, but it's not like they're not trying at all here. Some spam coming through. Amarok trying to see if there's something he can sneak away with forward in front of the rest of the team, but it's just not easy to do that, so the soldiers have to even things out again. Corbeck once again landing behind, awkwardly lands there, tries to redirect his efforts towards the medic, and it's going to work.
There we go, Nevo just running in through IT and picks up Doey, who had been knocked down to the low ground. Thought he was safe, but there's not many players to protect Patchouli at the moment. Scar's going to have to give his life, but Patchouli's weak, and Sledges in the backline is going to be an easy force for him. It's going to go down for it, but a very, very nice force, and they still only have Corbeck and Patchouli up as the mid-cap is going to start to come in here.
Alrighty, well, halftime on mid won't be good enough just yet. The spawns just not there yet for the trusted process. We'll have to wait this one out once again. 2048 will hang on to this midpoint. No, DuMmTm has Uber, but maybe just the threat of the Uber on the other side is just all the more reason to go in here. At least Corbeck's trying to make that happen, but the rest of the team can't get through choke. So much damage by the both red soldiers pumped in there to keep Alakur out of their second point. Having to work really hard to do that, but they are getting rewarded. The Corbeck kill, maybe something they can act on a little bit here. Certainly the threat is there in choke, and there we go. Slash commits, takes a long way around, lands on top of the doorway here just to slash right into the DuMmTm, take that kill out to Alakur. And that's a funny trade to take, but with Scar going down as well, looks like finally Trusted Process might be making some space towards the midpoint.
Yeah, just enough space for them to walk through choke. They actually pick up Nevo as well now, so suddenly the Frenchies are not going to want to face this. They're not going to want to try their hand to try and fight. They got Corbeck now in position, but he's not even going for a bomb just yet, just spamming down. Looks like, I think it was Jordi briefly had a moment of lag or something. Either way, he wasn't in full control of his character, and it's meant there's been no continued aggression. They've settled for mid for just about now. A little bit of a bait bomb coming in, some spam coming in for choke from Jordi, and they're going to put a decent amount of damage out to Scar, but they will lose Slash for it.
DuMmTm stuck as well. Such a nice sticky by Alakur to get him juggled just far enough up in the sky that he couldn't get out in time anymore. Just stuck in the choke point for way too long. Good damage all around. Nevo going a little bit ahead of the team here, but it's not anything. Alakur can't even back out again. One nice pipe take him down as well. 2 down each, but Jordi alone forward is asking for trouble, but never mind. He's so nice with it. Gets so much damage going. Takes down Scar. Forces the rest of them to fall back. Alakur barely any health. Would die to any pipe the moment the DuMmTm would be back. So terrifying few moments for the Frenchies. Get out of there just in time. They could have had so much more done with this one, and now it might just turn around completely on him here. Jordi waddles back in with full confidence, and you know what? He got it. Just who needs rocket jumps at all? Walk in with 300 health, and the opponents will have 0.
Yeah, that was a stealth waddle while Slash was providing a little bit of a distraction in the flank. And so many picks now, 3 picks, going to allow them to walk in through one completely uncontested. Scar gets joggled up in the air, the Uber is now out. The red Uber though is out, and it saves ALX in a very, very nice time with this cap time on it from Hemp. He gets flashed as well. Everyone's just mulching on the point, but Scar and Corbeck do the chunk of the damage that they need. Slash is still in the backlines, ALX is in the backlines, still reloading. There's going to be enough classes here, I think, for Trust the Process just about.
Yeah, I don't know if this is Jordi or 2010 Spanny. I mean, that was a very powerful model to get this whole thing started, but sometimes you just gotta trust it, right? Certainly living up to the name here, just follow the call, go in with that, and just few short seconds later, they're all over this one here. This is certainly looking very good for Trusted Process now. It was a very slow game the moment the Frenchies were in control, but Trusted Process does not play that way. They want to get in whichever way they can. Let's see if that works for mid-fight as well. Suddenly DuMmTm are coming out very fearsome already, but they couldn't quite find the mark. It's Eleku having to clean up the mess. It's almost great, but at least they're able to do so. Amarok and the Demo Man get one each of the bombs. Damage here. Scar just has Jordy walk in on him by accident. Didn't realize the soldier was already behind him. Covers his exit, 3 down. Just for Callback to be a happy man in the spawn queue, seeing his team do the rest. And that might just be the second point as well.
Yeah, I mean, Scar got a nice little pick onto Jordy, but possibly wanted more with the epic position he managed to work himself into. But as it is, Doe does get out safely. They are going to get a setup on last at the moment. They're so aggressive here, the Frenchies, just completely taking over a lobby despite the mid-cap only just coming in. But Jordy's in a position here. He finds Amma. Scar goes down as well. Elacor and Patchouli are going to sneak out safely, but a couple of picks is going to allow Frick the process to walk forward if they choose to.
Ooh, they got his pick early as well on someone holding close. Elacor blown up on the point. Demo tries to stay there to help out, but just couldn't get there in time. Demo down already. He's just stuck against the whole of the process already, and there we go. Red team back on top of things. We're about halfway through the game, and they're looking to be making this 2-1 in no time at all. But at this rate here, problem is Patchouli has, but if they can once again snipe people off the beam early, that would help a lot. Looks like Frenchie's not playing that game though. 2038, falling back right away. They've fallen apart on a bit before like this. They're not going to do it again. Settling with going back to second with all 6 alive at least. Let's see what they can do from here. Try to do this the long way around.
Yeah, just the last couple of minutes or so, Patchouli's having to play a little bit more. This here was a little bit further back because of just how aggressive Fudge the process have been. And again, we're seeing one big bomb in from Slash, try to make some space for the rest of his bees. Actually just jumps straight back into Patchouli. Gets damaged down, and they actually pick up Scar off the back of that, but at the end of the day, it's just a soldier trade. There's making some space now. Jordy trying to jump his way in that time, actually, not purely waddling, but
more than anything. But yeah, tries to get in from PC side. There's just so much maneuverability happening there, and once you're in, there's so much spam that can come your way as well that you can't really dodge anymore. Will get taken down. I would be wondering as well, because this is something I completely neglected to actually realize. First time I saw the announcement post for the season, Battalion's backup is banned going forward from the season. I guess crying about it finally worked for once in history. So I wonder how much it would have come up here in different circumstances, or if we will at all see another banner at some point.
Maybe.
Certainly the Frenchies played a little slow, but it wasn't the worst, I guess.
We tend not to see it on process as much. Yeah, the fast rollouts, the gunboats are so important.
I guess once in last maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, you see occasionally people build it up on last, but it doesn't tend to be as impactful as it is on some of the other maps. But we're actually going to see a sniper for the first time in a while. Pandemic rug out at least one headshot. I believe that was onto Callback looking at his health, and he's just moving his way in from sewer. The door is being opened for him by Jordy, trying to find some kind of angle. Everyone's hiding at the moment. No one really wants to show their head. No one wants to peek at the moment, but there's not too much pressure down either. Now they're finding their way in through that far left doorway.
Oh, they're trying to rush Slash as well on the other side, just completely different flank. Looks like Hemp does fall back in time. Just a big beating to just a scout. A soldier certainly would have turned the tide of that fight as well. Can stay alive just about, has to awfully long wait every time for a pack to spawn, but they're not rushing it much there, so after initial scare that they might do Slash, I think it's all fine in the end here. And the threat of the sniper is now what they really need to watch out for as well. I mean, Italian isn't there. I guess you can settle with the next best thing in a stalemate, and the sniper sure is still pretty good if you just know how to shoot.
Yeah, nice little body shot onto Scar is going to open things up. There's going to be a lot less spam coming down to him. Jordy's actually waddled his way in this time, and they pop, but they don't get Alex into that trade. And
they finally rushed Slash on the flank as well. Never finally bust behind as the fight happens. I guess that's the distraction he needed to get to the backlines. Now he's just sitting on the high ground, waiting for the rest of the team to push up there. Before the demo man here, there's some big damage missing, but I guess with good soda bombs, you can make up for a lot of things here. Scar flies in beautifully into the midpoint, cleans up the mess, and Demo just put nicely in front of him, and one last ditch attempt by Hemp is not enough to get the medic there. Eventually they played with a lot of patience there on the French side, but the paid out in the end. Demo knew what he wanted, and by the time he had it, there was nothing they could do about it anymore. Real nice stuff for 2038. And they're not getting rewarded with this bit. This is going straight to the last by the looks of it.
Yeah, just settling, getting some buffs up, getting their players healed as the captors come in. They're taking their time. They know they have an awful long time to work with. They can, work out, find some information, find out if there's any off clutches up at the moment. There is an engineer. He's just got that level 1 gun up in the far left side from his point of view, but it's going to be a pop in through 3. They're trying to get Elacor up into the high ground, up into panic room. He's putting some spam down onto Geordie, but can't clean him up just yet. A little bit of cap time out for Nevo, but the heavy is now out for Pandemic. He's just shooting his Tommy Slam fully across, and there's not really enough cap time here for the Frenchies. They have a couple of picks, so it might prove enough. Nevo is going to have to be contested, and no explosive damage really coming out there to contest the point, and the Frenchies go back with a 2-1 lead.
It's always really scary to leave the heavy alive for when you didn't actually get much cap time initially, because you just have to walk into him there, but this time around it's just what works out. No one could block, and the damage just wasn't quick enough. Everyone just the process a tiny bit too late to the party. 2038 finally with another lead here, looking a whole lot better for them now, but a lot of game left to be played here. That, however, will be a very different game going to the next mid-fight here. Nevo sniping to mid.
Yeah, slightly strange. They've posted themselves up with mostly playing around the choke. Nevo is in a position where Geordie could perhaps go for a flank. He's going to have to waddle himself forward and play around from sewers, but it's not finding any kind of angle. And Slash and Geordie are both in behind. They're going to find Scar, they're going to find Patchouli, they're going to find Elagor as well. And Toei, with a nice serve, launches himself miles away through into his own choke, keeps himself alive there, and about as clean a mid-fight as you could have wanted. The sniper really not working there.
That is a huge swing. They went one down, they want to retaliate right away. This is looking about as good as it can be, right? Late spawns for the soldiers too. Don't have to worry about anyone hiding or forcing you at all until you're actually in there. And this is full ad going into last year. You need to score these, right? If this doesn't work, what else do you need to get around right now? And it's going to be very demoralizing this late in the game to be for a good opportunity like this one. And D and Sniper certainly might help on the last point here. Six still on point for quite a while, but the gun is down now, and this is all open for the taking, except it took so long. The invincibility is off, and they still haven't gotten any cap back.
It took them a while to knock Scar down off the high ground as well. They picked up Scar and callback now, so someone wants to stand on the point as it is. It's going to be Alex standing on the point. It's blocked by Amma, but there is enough aggression coming out from Frick the Process, and they're going to level it up.
Yeah, there you go. 2-2 in no time at all. Really fast round. 2038. Got to work it out for them if they still want to win this one. Right now, they're making them go the distance maybe. I mean, we're still quite a ways off from overtime, but we're getting closer and closer every passing second. They can just step up their game every time they're forced to do it. Callback shot down by Little Sticky there immediately on the mid-fight. Can't really go anywhere much at all, but that's not too big a deal here. We'll see what the actual deep bombs might commit. And this time around, there's one onto the Devil Man trying to get the kill. The Elacor gets it right away. Everyone else pushing across the points were real nice stuff by Trust the Process. They saw one bomb go in, and it was 5 people following up.
And unfortunately, Nevo had an opportunity to maybe go for something on Dowie just a little bit earlier. Abba's actually in behind. There's 2 scouts to shoot him down. They do take him down. Dowie down to 25 health, I think was his lowest there. He will pick up the health back.
Not
he will
even
be
close.
nice and safe. Yeah, I mean, maybe I hyped it up too much.
See, this is this is the difference between you and Dowie. Dowie sits there with 30 health, top tramp scouts in front of him. He doesn't fear. He doesn't give a shit. He has been in these situations before, and it's on his team to get him out of that one. And it all works out in the end. And, I mean, certainly looks really good now, right? Patchouli doesn't even quite have yet. Maybe they can even still take advantage of that one. It's still a gun snap to push through, and they need to do it a little bit faster than last time here, or Patchouli will have Uber anywhere soon.
Amma just walking out into knowing there's no stickies in front of him, quite placed, and putting some pressure down. Then Uber is now out from the blue side, from the French's Elacor, launching himself into rollout, finds a couple of picks, but Dowie and
Johnny out of nowhere!
Oh, Pandemic running in behind, running in through the flank. They're going to land on the point, but Nevo's going to clean most of them. There's still 2 soldiers, but they're both very, very weak. There's a sticky between them. Neither wants to step on it. Eventually they do. Johnny's still alive. Everyone's so low. There's a couple of spawners coming up just in time for 2038. I think they would have held it just about otherwise. But very, very close. Fine margins. Everyone was so weak there.
They all, both of them, like, this gun and everyone stepped off the point for a second there to not just obviously walk into both soldiers and almost just let the escape plan soldier cap. Scary times with Frenchies, they're coming out the better for it. And there we go, 7 minutes left on the clock. We're getting closer and closer to overtime if no one can find a winner here anytime soon. Slash once again getting waddled out on the flank. They took advantage of him real nicely. Need to watch out that the soldier watching the flank is not getting taken advantage of again. Big bomb forward. In the meantime, here Scar trying to use the distraction to his favor, but the medic is in no danger by the looks of it.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of hiding from Pandemic when he's peeking from that sewer area, but at the moment their IT aggression isn't quite working out, and again, losing Scar does open up more opportunities. At the moment, they're not looking to make too much stuff happen, the fudge processors, but Pandemic's just rotated back around looking to peek in through choke this time, supported by Geordie. It's going to just try and provide different angles to see who is going to show their head. At the moment, no one too much, and actually sewer control has gone back in the Frenchies' favour, so well, yeah, it looks like they're actually just going to Uber in through IT. They're going to pick up Pandemic, going to pick up the sniper. They now want to get back because Dowie has popped much later. Alex kept nice and safe, but with the pick, they want to keep moving here with that single pick.
That was dangerous. Slash almost just by accident got the perfect jump in front of the medic. They were able to take care of it in time. Now it's time to leave the trust process. They didn't get the kill early. Dowie is dangerously low as well. Just about sneaks away with it here. Comic wants some follow-up damage, but he actually gets himself blindsided between the soldier and the scout. Jordy helps clean up the kill there. It's not a major disaster, of course, but at this point, this late into the game, any hiccups right now is just costing you valuable time that you don't get back anymore.
Shows a lot of confidence by the Frenchies as well. Obviously, you know, when they have the sniper, trading is a little bit more favourable, but it still takes a lot of balls. Ammo going very low as Trust the Process want to move in through mid. They get a lot of damage on a lot of players. There's not really enough ammo for them to contest here. The Uber is going in, and Patchouli is cleaned up just before he can get that Uber up.
Dowie stole the medigun as well? Oh no, they have 200% advantage this round.
He picked it up and he still had 88% on it. That was crazy.
Is just built different today.
Insane stuff from him, but yeah, Frick the Process looking to move forward. They have their tail, but well, forward, I guess. If they do have a tail, I don't know how many furries are on this team, but either way, they're looking to move into the lobby area.
How many furries are in the server right now?
There's a Brody on the team, right? That kind of counts. But either way, they're moving in through 3. They knock everyone down into Panic Room. Nevo is the heavy up in spawn, but that's not too much pressure down on the point as it is now. Hemp is picked up. Pandemic, no cap time out from either scouts. Both are cleaned up, so they're just going to have to back up to second here. But both soldiers are in and they clean up Zoe.
It's unfortunate. The medic died on that one. It's a really nice rocket in the end to get the kill. So thanks for Warp for the very low in the chat. He would be the one to know. As we go into the last few minutes of the game. Round timer, map timer, who cares? It's all the same now. So are pretty much the Ubers at this point as well. Both medics just spawning now after a messy fight on last. No one has a lead yet. Frenchies get a lot of mileage out of winning that last engagement there though. All the way back to mid. And suddenly they have the leg up in the race to the finish. That is map number 1. It's just a little bit right. Better map position. Tiny super. I know that one matters, but having mid right now is just so much comfort this late into the game.
Yeah, I think both teams are probably just going to settle down here. We haven't seen either super keen to make stuff happen outside of that kind of one occasion where the Frenchies felt they didn't want to play against a sniper for 20 minutes because eventually they'd lose out. As it is, Scar trying to make a little bit of space in IT, being mostly given the space actually, but the real movement actually is here. It's towards sewer. Ammo is just finding some information. Call back in with a large bomb onto Dowie, but he's cleaned up very quickly once more this time. Pandemic is the one to do it with the help of Hemp, so both the scouts were there in position to clean him up. Because that was such a nice bomb. If he hadn't gone down immediately, it would have been a bit ropey.
2 picks, that's looking pretty good. Never putting in the work already here with the sudden sniper switch paying off right away. Awkward engagement there in PC as well. Scar takes the L on that one. Didn't realize Slash was pushing up on him as much as he was pushing up the other way.
Oh. Dowie going very low, has to run and get a health bag, but eats a little bit more damage. Eats an arrow as well. He's so weak, having to hide from everyone. But Pandemic is in behind.
He just pushed through the flank. He didn't care. He got 1 kill on the flank. Goes for another one. Never just popping off completely. AZN still with them in spirit on this one to somehow turn this around, still got forced in the end.
Yeah, I think that was incoming damage from the choke from ALX, just enough to force Machchill. He did go down pretty low, so it's going to allow Geordie to find his way in. He actually finds nice rockets on to Nemo base, matched perfectly by Scar, who finds perfect rockets onto him as well. Scar now once more in a position where he can land on some people, but is not going to get himself out of there, so the French is going to have to back up for now. Funky process there, just standing on the point. They're going to get the mid cap. There is not too much time to work with. We probably moving towards a golden cap here unless something happens quickly, but actually the Frenchies have somehow got themselves quite a big over advantage here.
See what comes out of this one now. He doesn't have truly so close to having, but you don't really use on the defense if you want to actually get this momentum going into mid. Having one pick helps a lot, and there's another one just catch Demo went off guard. ALX down, Soldier Geordie forward, still trying to help out, got himself killed there, and yeah, Scar goes all the way deep to finally clean up that kill one by one. They're just carrying forward this numbers advantage on top of the Uber all the way through mid in no time at all, and with 50 seconds left, Uber advantage might be dwindling, but they got them locked on last for one last ditch effort attempt.
Yep, Joey coming up at 100% now, but Callback's in. Secret, he's in behind, you can see where people are, but he is taken pretty low. Ammo is picked up nicely by Alex, so both the soldiers are now in the panic room. The Uber is out for trust the process, but there's only a couple people to deal with, just 30 seconds left. Elacor is going to run in, feed mostly. It's not going to prove too pivotal as Nevo is clean up. Ammo is just a spawner, probably won't be able to get to last in time, so looks like a golden cap.
Yeah, I feel vindicated. I said that if this comes down to both Prem Quali games this weekend being at the same time, I guess I would put this one as the mainstream game. I guess I was right on this being a good game at the very least. Maybe not the better one, who knows, but certainly a good one for sure. This wouldn't be the bad choice here as the final seconds roll through. It's a tie in regulation time. Both teams get 15 more minutes and one more round to play with. It's overtime now for these two rosters. There needs to be one after tonight. Only two teams can go into Prem, and it can only be one of these two.
Yep, only one winner, only one team marching forward into Prem. And yeah, they look fairly evenly matched so far, you have to say. Obviously, Golden Cap suggests that. I mean, there was definitely a lot of the time where it felt like the Frenchies had the upper hand, but you have to give it to trust the process. When they have had opportunities, when the Frenchies did make a mistake here and there, they made a lot of work from it. They really, their punish game is really on point.
Alrighty. I don't speak French, but it looks like someone is suggesting /DuMmTm and Deaf and Mumble, I have to imagine is what that's. Correct me if I'm wrong, Frenchies. That's my impression here. I don't know what that means exactly here for the mentality of things, but we will find out soon, I guess, what's going to be happening in the Golden Cap as they're getting ready. Certainly, someone disappeared from the server real quick. I'm sure they'll be back. There we go, callback. Just had a quick relaunch into the server moment. Not a big deal. I mean, I can't blame anyone for wanting a quick break before this one. You want to be on top of things here. It could be, one mistake could just cost you the round instantly, right? A big mid-fight win. We didn't quite have many of those. I think the one, technically, right? But trust the process with the quick round. That was really it. But I guess it just sets the precedence. They can do that. The threat is there. You need to worry about it. You need to get going on the mid-fight yourself. I think the mid-fights otherwise were good for the Frenchies, though. So maybe they have this one still fully under control at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, they did throw that one kind of mid-fight where they had Nevo go roll out and sniper and he didn't hit anything, and that never goes well if that happens. But, respect to Frick the process, they dealt with that sniper mid-fight so well. But, going into this Golden Cup, they seem to have a bit of a plan. That final mid, it looked like they kind of worked out, Callback and Scar were going so fast, they had some kind of setup to deal with that as the game went on. So we'll have to see if they can kind of match that in this one will be very, very important Golden Cap mid-fight.
We'll see. It's going to be an awkward one. I can't really call it winner on this one too. Both teams have the ups and downs at the end of the day still. I mean, the Frenchies had the upper hand for a little bit longer this game, I suppose, but once Trust the Process stepped up to the task, they were looking really good. Maybe they just need to do a lot with very little here at the end of this one and just convert one more good position in the game. We'll see. Maybe it's just going to be never popping off again. Maybe this time the sniper teammate is just going to actually just win them the game.
I don't know about that. I think the sniper is interesting because we haven't seen too many forces happening from soldier bombs. We haven't seen too much happening in stalemates in general. It seems to be that both teams just eventually have settled down to playing around a sniper, and it's either been the sniper's slowly got that pick that's opened stuff up, or he's been shut down very, very fast. Outside of the those sniper plays, the points haven't really been traded too much.
We'll see. Maybe we do see a surprise banner at some point appear as well, just the random buff banner. We can only hope. For at least our entertainment's sake, maybe not theirs. We'll see. But there's got to be a winner tonight. And that includes map number 1. One of these two teams will go to Premiership at the end of the match. That includes, of course, having to win 2 maps total. This is still the first one if you've just joined. This is a long one already here. They cannot decide who's the better team just yet, but Process needs a winner. Overtime will decide it, and Jordy has already taken L. That's not a good start for Process.
Yeah, Elecor even beefed his rollout a little bit. Had to go through sewer, but with both the soldiers, Scour and Callback, just nailing Geordie right at the start of that, it's going to mean that Frick the Process don't want to contest, don't want to stay in that mid-fight with that one bombing class down, and the bombing class actually is Scar. So Callback going to launch himself in. Going to find Doey actually. Not too much support from the rest of it, but just perfect little rockets, and Doey picked up. I was saying soldier bombs haven't been good so far, haven't been finding forces or drops, but they find Doey that time.
They also get a hemp as well. Everyone's really weak, and as much as they want the medkill, I don't think anyone's really in fighting shape anymore. Getting out of there while they still can, and 2048 just takes the time, wait for respawns, and slowly but surely waddle their way back into sec. Still got to worry this soldier bomb coming. There was plenty of time to at least take a health pack. They might not be full health, let alone buff, but if you're down like they are, you just gotta try, I guess. Looks like no one's really daring, though, in the end. 2048 gets this point. No questions asked. They can't beat this one, right? We've seen them be able to, but you can't afford to anymore. Second chances are running out at this point.
Taking their time. Looks like they want to move in through 1 this time. A bit of a change up from their previous pushes, but they take so much spam walking in. They had to pop super early as well. A little bit of cap time coming out from Amadine. Nevo's actually running in on Doey as well. Scar is going to win a fight against Slash. There is a heavy up, but he's so far back. I don't think. Oh, important damage coming out from ALX, but there we go.
He just chases the kills, and the soldier just jumps right past him. See you later, nerd. And wins the game right under their noses.
Unfortunate stuff. I mean, it was all off the back of Callback, the whole kind of Golden Cup, just doing so much work, just making sure, just putting like perfect rocket mode on for that Golden Cup, finding those rockets on the mid-fight, finding the rockets onto Doey, and then a little bit of a scrappy last push. Should have been a fail, really, but they brought it out from somewhere, and that really puts them at an advantage now, a full map up.
And sometimes the biggest skill to have is just to be a little bit lucky, you know? Have to get baited into something, and then suddenly just to be in the right place at the right time. Some people just got it like that, and they will greatly benefit of this one. 1 map under the belt already. 1 more to go. I'm going to Snakewater.
Yeah, as you say, sometimes you just gotta throw the dice, make it happen, jump in, see the cap time that was on the table, not being scared of that heavy in your face, and Scar made it work that time, and yeah, there we go. Moving on to Snakewater. I mean, when process is that slow, that doesn't really bode that well for Snakewater, does it?
Well, if anything, right, look at it this way. We probably still have a lot of mid-fights ahead of us because the timer might reset on us. And at this point, right, with the current time limits, I guess I'm looking more forward to it than ever before. Because at least I can look forward to it ending, right? That's how you need to look at it. Previously, that would just take forever. Have some logs for people to look at as well, real quick. Between the games, what else is there to look at other than just see just the raw statistics? Now all going into the numbers bank that JMax has prepared between or before matches usually, I suppose. So this is all going into the stats. I don't know if they are. This is technically not Prem games. Okay, these games are getting counted good. I wasn't sure. I mean, it's basically a Prem game, technically, almost. So pretty much the same thing, I guess.
Not too much to clean, equal medic deaths. Elakor doing considerably more damage than ALX, but also not ended up with as good a KD. So I think he's been tanked a little bit more, putting a little bit more, frontline work for his team. But other than that, it looks pretty evenly matched.
What is the big difference maker here? And is it like... I guess it's like pipe damage. Elakor just wants to pipe people more than ALX does, I guess. And you know what? He's kind of nice with it. I'm more good nerfed, and he's still pretty good, I would say. So go for it. But yeah, this is like unsurprisingly close locks. It's been a really, really close game. So seeing everyone this close together is not anything too surprising. The most outstanding thing is just, I guess it's the first time in a while I've seen Callback take this many deaths. I guess he's on Roma, so that's kind of par for the course, but still in comparison even to his counterparts as well, is a bit outstanding. I think the really interesting thing, though, and we kind of suspected that as well, as we saw it in some of the pushes, Jordi, just the heal sync for the team here, the kind of just old school pocket soldier in a way, taking more heals than his demo man, and more heals than Elakor even, who was playing very aggressive frontline demo man in a way as well. So that's a shift on priorities on the heals that you don't see too much these days anymore, especially towards the top divs. Every time you do see it, it's definitely worth pointing out, I suppose. It's kind of very much fallen past the general favor of teams in the modern days, I suppose. It's right, the scouts and the demo man, right, to take like anywhere close to 25% heals usually. They have to have priorities. It's... I can't say it didn't work out, right? They lost the map, but I don't think that really was the problem at all.
I mean, Jordi did put in a lot of work, did a lot of damage. It was top damage for his team, so at the end of the day, I don't think it, as you say, was a decisive factor. It's just kind of a little bit difference in playstyle. I think Jordi is at his best when he's just denying that choke solo. He's so good at just finding the perfect timing to just launch his 4 rockets at that choke, and you get so much damage done that way. You can just solo shut down a push, and as I say, that's absolutely when he's at his best.
Yeah, a good Wardle is just an underrated art form these days, and he's bringing it back. Getting it back in style, maybe we'll see if this works out on this map as well. I have my doubts on that with how the choke points lay that out, but maybe they adapt to it as well, right? Maybe they're not a one-trick pony and play a little bit different depending on the map as well. We'll see. Oh no! I just saw the saddest thing in the pregame. But Judy wanted to make a friend and spawn with Dowie, and Dowie just killed one in front of him and disappeared. This is so sad.
No friends, this is serious gameplay.
There's no fun allowed today. This is just...
No friendly hoovies, no sandwiches.
This is for all the marbles, and marbles in this case are Premiership, I guess. Otherwise, you'll have to go back into, admittedly, just a pretty scary place at District 1 this season.
Looks like the Frenchies briefly readied up. They want to get things going. I imagine they want to probably get this over and done within 2. As we say, Snakewater has traditionally been a little bit of a slower map these last few seasons, at least. People have really worked out, they've really grinded out these last holes that are difficult to break. We might not see as impressive stuff. These are obviously qualifying teams. They're not probably as fully articulated, fully mechanized as some of the other teams, towards the top of the division that have just worked everything out. But either way, I don't expect it to be super fast paced.
Yeah, this could very dangerously be a very slow game, and if they get to an Aglet, I think that's obviously very much in favor of the franchise. They also seemed like the team that favored that playstyle a little bit more here. We'll see if they can enforce the will on them. Trust the Process found decent ways to break the slow playstyle the franchise had occasionally throughout the first map. We'll see what chance they stand going aggressive with the Pocket Wardle anymore here on CP Snakewater. The franchise 2038 up a map already. They won this one. They're going straight back where they came from into Premiership yet again. Trust the Process can give us a map 3. We'll see if this goes the distance now into map 2. The bombs are certainly looking quite coordinated already in the red team here, going deep, trying to get to the combo, dealing a decent bit of damage, but not finding a single kill.
Oh, they just perfectly kited it there, Amber and Patchouli. but you know, never ran in. He picked up Doey, and now everyone's just running away. Pachuli's having to run away from Pandemic. He runs himself into ALX, but sneaks out of there as well. Perfectly negotiated by Pachuli there, and the Frenchies are going to decisively take this first mid-fight.
Yeah, you see people maybe not get killed so much, but like, you know, just have to fall back while getting like a kill or two maybe. Sometimes you just have to wait a long way around, right, to get mid-fight back. No, they're playing this one quick. They're getting right back into it after giving up a bit of space to survive, just because they know they have the chance to turn this around immediately. No need to wait for anyone as well, and works out real nicely here. Get this going all the way to last. Maybe this is the momentum thing they need. However, interestingly enough, this is a crit streak. Pachuli with the surprise, just jump scare crit streak that I don't think anyone's ready for at this point.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would be expecting it right now. They are just loading up in lobby. At the moment, it's going to be Elacor in from Big Door. He doesn't find too much for his first couple of stickies. They do find ALX, and Doey is cleaned up by Nevo as well. Geordie going down with actually, that was a crit rocket from long range. And it's going to be very, very easy for the Frenchies just to walk in through the left, stick themselves on the point, and there's no players left to contest from just the process.
This is scary both ways you look at it now. Either A, this is just how quick they can play the rest of the map, or B, if they play slow now, they have to just deal with having to slowly come back into the game from already being in a deficit the entire way through the match, basically. Neither prospect sounds too nice, so they better off just get a big swing around in their favor on the mid fight.
Yeah, Elacor is getting a little bit there. It actually launches the medic away from Cormac, but there's still two soldiers cleaning them up very, very quickly, but it's going to allow Frick the process to run forward. They're going to find Pachuli and lower Hempis, and it's a little bit scrappy at the moment. Everyone's stuck on each other's side, but with a clean up there onto Neville, it's probably going to be enough for Fudging Process to take it just about. And Slesh wants the kill onto Elacor as well. He's in behind, finds one rocket but gets launched miles in the air. He's going to land with the health pack and keep himself safe. I don't think he wants to continue this fight though, as with the health advantage that Elacor has, he will survive.
That is a rare rocket and sticky sync in an official. You don't see that all too often. Held out of it. I suppose he wasn't able to get the kill, but he sure got out of there nice and quick. It's not quite what I envisioned when I said they need a big turnaround in the mid-fight here, but it is a bit win at the very least. Now, even with a notable amount of advantage, surprisingly, Medic's just not quite up the right time here for the Frenchies to be the beneficial ones out of this whole scenario. And Pandemic doesn't care. They're mad. Who cares? They're in deep. They want more kills. However, getting the med in there as well should probably also have some need for sticky clearing going on as well. That part didn't quite work out so well. So despite Ham's best efforts to win this thing on his own, which he might very well still do actually, it's a little bit awkward. Cowbeck has no help to win this fight. Oh no, that's just Emma from nowhere.
Does have support from Emma just running in at the tail end, and Corpac lives on a very, very small amount of health. Emma wants to go and back to his medic. And yeah, it's all settled down okay for the Frenchies, I guess. Very slight advantage for Doey, but second will be back, or will stay in their control, at least for now. They're going to have the whole set back up at the moment. Cormac just trying to find a little bit of space in through that main area, through the grass. But at the moment, everything's just settled down, getting their buffs up, getting their building going, because Pachuli's going to have to get a move on. Because, as we say, Doey did have a slight ad, but they probably aren't... I mean, they should know about it, but whether they can use it or not, we'll see.
Alright, in we go here. Slash on the medic wants this kill nice and early. Can get one good rocket, but it takes a little bit more to get the kill. And Pandemic out of nowhere. I don't know how he keeps doing it. He's just sneaking up to them. Anywhere they are on second, there's just Pandemic waiting for them. And that is working brilliantly for them. As we learned the last couple of years, you can't escape the Pandemic.
That was 99% Uber for Pachuli. Heartbreaking stuff. Couldn't quite get that Uber in time. And does go down for it. That's going to give full advantage now for Doey. They're just going to drop out a window. All four of this combo. They're moving forward. Alex, Geordie finding some space. Big bombing from Slesh, but everyone's backed out. They're playing around the sniper from Nevo, but nothing else. But Doey wants to go forward. Geordie provided some space through lower. They're just going to pop it out to Geordie from lower. Now finally Alex getting involved. They're taking out the sentry gun, trying to put some cap time on the point, but a headshot from Nevo onto Geordie is going to really stunt the push. Slesh wants to make something happen, but it's going to get cleaned up, and it's just a complete balls up, to be honest.
Yeah, this did not work out as planned whatsoever, but truly nice and safe out of this whole thing too. They just watched everyone walk away from them too. There's like zero threat of a backup. Not even leaving anyone behind. They know very well where everyone went after that play failed. And they can just go very quick into second and see if they can still sneak anything away with what they have. Now we're catching up quick, of course, at this point, but they just don't have the charge fully ready yet, so there's still a chance 2038 can get something going onto mid. Big little jump through. It looked really nice initially, but just hits his head with the poker through the choke point there, and suddenly it just all turns around and they got in like they wanted to, but they didn't really get anything done.
Yeah, more tempers required by Elacor, but he's found a high ground position here. He's just raining down damage from above. There's going to be no escape from Dowie. Amma's cleaning him up, but there's not too many alive for the Frenchies at the moment. Patchouli is somehow just completely in behind. I don't see how he ended up there, but either way, he's going to be cleaned up by the onrushing fudging process boys, and now they're going to walk forward. They probably know Amma's hiding somewhere. Slash even finds that sticky trap that Elacor had put up. But yeah, particularly dead even Uber, so.
Yeah, it's very generous for Patchouli that Dowie just had to wait a couple seconds for anyone to get back to spawn, let alone spawn at all next to him. So it makes the situation even at the worst right now. Certainly we escaped the best for 2048 at this fight somewhere in the middle of it. If not at the beginning, this whole thing just started off so weird, right? Like, yeah, they had to Uber, it wasn't big. They gambled on it working. Sometimes, you know, you just gotta dream big, but I guess it's a lot easier to get the pushover and done with successfully if you actually have a target in sight initially, and they just went in there, seeing if they can make anything up along the way. Did not work out. Now it's Structure crosses back onto play. Jordi tries to disappear behind, but he doesn't have much health. Slash goes down already. So a weak soldier in the backline really isn't that much of a threat anymore against what is only 4 people on the other side.
Yeah, Nevo's just scouring the Saw area, seeing that there's opportunity for them to move in at the moment. Loru is being trapped. Elacor is
such a nice jump by Scar, but the most beautiful jump through Kitchen just isn't good enough when the scout walks into the rocket aimed at the medic.
Jordi does eventually go down behind, but he bought himself enough time, and now we're seeing Fridge in the process there, walking forward, but Hemp does get dropped out from the Uber. In fact, I don't even know where Dowie is. I think he's just completely scattered, completely backed up from the rest of his team. They weren't with their medic there, whether they're going for some kind of sack attempt or not. In fact, I think it ended up being a successful sack attempt. It fooled even me as a caster. They do get the force out of Patchouli, and Dowie has 100% in his hands.
Yeah, they were just able to escape this one real nicely. Try to stay close, get the force out there, getting the bush granted to Scar. A bit caught in a crossfire there, but they got kills out of it, right? They stayed forward against the big Uber ad, and you know what? Not everyone was flashed, and the second they saw someone not flash red, they had just had the eyes turn red instead and were all over those kills. 3 going down while they went invincible. That's supposed to work with the opposite way. For 2030, it's making it work somehow anyway. Korvac's not even up yet, they don't care, they want to get in onto second. Spawn situation is looking a bit awkward, but it might still work out here in the end. Jordi is certainly the most aggressive play coming out of Trust and Crosses right now, as the rest of them finally follow up, and they're getting Ammo called really early. Maybe that's gonna help turn the fight around. Slash helps clean up Nevo. Maybe Korvac can save this one. Nice shot there, 2-for-1 special. Somehow brings this one, maybe not back so much this fight, but just the whole situation back on track for 2038.
Beautiful from Korvac, finding that one rocket just to launch them both into the air shot. And Elacor finds a nice shot out onto Jordi as well. He gets cleaned up. They do throw themselves in. They do pick up Patchouli. That was Slash finding his way in. Elacor not in a position to die both the soldiers. But either way, that's just even things up a little bit. Dowie still nowhere near Uber. The French is still moving on towards second. They're probably going to take control of second here. Funky process there, looking to bust out through the catwalk area. It's a little bit risky for them. They're not sure whether they want to stick or twist. Dowie's kind of leaving them in a dangerous position. They're going to have to back up, and Alex is going to get caught. Hemp is going to get caught. The Frenchies want more though. They have the picks. They're 6 against 4. They're going to have the second cap in their hands, and Dowie hasn't even been building that effectively throughout that either.
Alright, 2 down to last. It sounds really good for them here. Don't have Uber anymore, but Nate can just muscle their way past this with some good player ad as well. Get this to the cap. Leave a rocket onto Jordi. How is he still alive? Just sitting there with 10 HP below the stairs, but it's just coming down to Nevo now, and as good as he is, as much as we've seen him go on a massive tear earlier, this is just a tiny bit too much, and Now it's just Patchouli left, and this guy needs to get out of there quick, otherwise it's looking done for already for actually getting a play back again onto the last one, and it's not gonna happen. They went into the 6v4, and they still got out-DM'd.
Unfortunate stuff. Scar is up on the Frenchman, as his nationalities would suggest. He's up on the spy, trying to move in through lobby at the moment. Not going. I mean, the backup is not a threat because of how quickly Fracking Process have been able to cap up, have been able to move their way. There's still the spy in the backlane. Scar moving through now, but he's spotted. He's going to find Geordie though, is he? No, he doesn't go for the stab. Doesn't go for that play, just is probably going to get himself. Oh no, get cleaned up by Hemp. It's a little bit too slow moving.
Alright, well, if one spy doesn't work, then maybe the sniper instead does it here. Never waiting for the opportunity. They're coming the other way, but the moment someone's on point, maybe there's a chance. Oh, you just settled for the scout in front of you. That one doesn't hit. Callback goes down already. Maybe it's time to stop dreaming. No, never mind. Neville just has the dot on the medic, and then Elikur just gets the kill instead. Somehow, Neville can manage to be upset at the medic dying there.
Somehow, but yeah, Elikur absolutely beasting right now, and that is going to turn the tables very much in 2038's favour. They're moving out to second. They're a little bit worried about someone maybe being in for a back cap, but they're completely clear. The cap comes in pretty rapidly as well, so they want to move. They have 100% in hand. They're going to have to deal with Hemp, who's up in the forward spawn on the sniper, but if they move, they're looking to move in through kitchen, but back in through main now. It's just a little bit of a bait. It's allowed Slash to get in behind, and he's got the force out onto Patchouli as well. Ton of damage down on Patchouli and Elikur, and just the one pick onto Geordie. I mean, Funky Process, they're back on second, so they're not really in a place to contest, but they have the numbers and they have the damage, I think, if they wanted to, just not the positioning right now.
Yeah, they need to take a chance here right now, and I mean, if you're one down this late into the game, at some point you got to start taking chances one way or another. Looks like that is exactly what they're thinking as well. Something's got to start going forward for them. So they're just going forward instead, all the way through into mid. Force them went out really nicely here. Get Geordie indeed to clean up the kill afterwards. Just put Elikur between a rock and a hard place. Geordie awkwardly trades this one out onto Scar as well, and Sunny is looking really, really nice. They took a chance. They said, we're going to take this fight if you're ready or not, and they were not ready.
Yeah, beautiful work from Geordie, just making so much progress for his team. Just, you know, getting that 2 for 1, effectively trading out. Important trade as well to get that soldier, and now they can look to move forward. They do have a slight advantage. They're probably not aware exactly what the situation is. They probably think it's a basically even as it now does come up. Patchouli gets that 100% Uber up, not going to drop on 99 or die on 99 this time. At the moment they do have control of lobby here. Funky Process there, walking forward. They're looking to get some spam through the left door. It's going to provide some space for Slash, but he's going to get cleaned up by Nevo. And Geordie, the other soldier, goes down. Alex is weak as well. He's really just punished by Scar, who once more is going to jump himself out. Elikur's launching himself forward as well, and Pandemic gets dropped from the Uber. Just so much incoming damage from the explosive classes from the French, and Hemp and Dowie are just going to have to run all the way back out of there. Patchouli under no threat of getting forced, and they're going to have 100% advantage now.
2048 is getting warmed up just a tiny bit more throughout the match, maybe. Getting into full shape slowly but surely here all the way to mid already. Advantage plenty to spare. Still have to worry about Pandemic. That man had a bit of a history so far, just appearing in front of them on second. Maybe it's going on their second as well this time. Be on Sniper, but maybe that still works out in the end. For now, they certainly are calling where the medic is, where he needs to look with the Sniper from the forward spawn, but is that going to be enough? Has the eyes on the medic, but Kovac has his eyes set on the Sniper as well. Doesn't let it happen. The medic just waits right outside the sideline here as they pop now into last. This has got to do it. It's a good opportunity. The gun's not even really up yet at all. Captain coming through. The scout just sitting there, forcing them to engage on the cap, but past the spam from the combo going deep. There's no chance to even get that. Not this thing in time.
Yeah, they didn't even get any kills with that Uber, but they just got so much position that everyone was fully pushed back by Phallic Process, and yeah, now they're 2-0 down. They're going to have to make something happen. They're going to have to probably win this mid fight. There's still a lot of time for them to work with, but they do need stuff to start going in their favour now.
Yeah, halfway through the game. Plenty time to still play, I suppose, but I mean, there hasn't been a bigger than 1 round lead this entire match so far. Let's see Kovac going deep on the mid fight, trying to get the damage going for Scar to clean it up. gets the double kill on that one, just lands safely behind, claims another kill onto Pandemic. And while the soldiers are down now, they have done plenty work already. That, however, still needs even numbers here. While the demo down is pretty rough to take the fight back on the point. They're taking the chances as well. Double bomb across certainly is a good way to start things off with. Trying to get into the demo when it's never going down. Instead, Ham trying to clean up something, anyone at all would be a good kill right now. Alaku certainly looks good. There's the melee kill. Jordy just stays alive for so long while everyone is just really killing everybody around that kill. But no one's died at the X-Spawn, just getting there in time. Such an awkward late fight for Trust the Process to still just about kind of turn around. I really can only call them kind of right now because they haven't captured mid one yet. And not out of the woods yet. Corbeck hiding as well. Scar still around on mid as well. They're just giving them plenty to think about. And he's a little late as well. He just missed him leaving the door into mid. He can just serve it away from him.
Joey doing a good job of just fully following his scout, making sure he's nice and far forward, knowing the threat from behind is just as large as the threat from the front as well, and just putting himself in the middle of that meaty sandwich of his teammates, providing a lot of safety. They're trying to move into a second as well. Alex has a ton of space on the Great Bridge area. Corback is going to jump himself, scoot himself out of there. And Patchouli is coming up on the crit screen. It's up to 100% here, but does he have Elacor in tow to use it on?
Oh, well, first of all, they have to survive this even maneuver charge as well. Elacor hanging around really far forward. Somehow gets away in time, but don't worry that this actually does something. No, it's laser beams on the heavy. Emma takes the sword. Splash onto the rocket there. Hemp goes down. Heavy didn't get much going in the end, but everyone's kind of weak. Maybe that's just good enough to win the rest of the fight from here. Dowie is not anywhere close to anyone as well. He dodges into the center area of the point, but it doesn't matter. They're not getting anything done towards the combo on the right.
Great scatter from Frick the Process. They just hit themselves behind any obstacle they could from the incoming laser beams on that left side, behind the truck, behind that little shed thing, and absorbed most of that aggression, most of that damage, and they had enough classes just about alive and enough health. I think they actually, towards the tail end of that crit, they actually gained health through the healing that Dowie was putting out, and it was enough to make the difference.
That's once again putting around on Trust the Process's scoreboard here, 2-1. Still behind, but they're catching up again. Maybe like last time they can just get a quick one right here and make it all look even better. Bomb coming through by Corbeck looks very threatening, and as much as Dowie is incredibly weak, they just can't get the follow-up. Scar tries to get in there, but just gets shut down by the scouts over the point. Both of them get the kill onto the soldier. Even numbers once again. They did good work with even numbers before. Pandemic is just not letting up at all. He is happy to follow up. Slash is just turning their heads for the scouts to walk in with no issues at all. But then Alaku just decides, actually, I'm the best player on the server.
He definitely is. He dumpstered Slash, and then he sees his team just get mulched by the scouts, and then he's just like, oh, I'll kill Dowie. Just perfect demo play. Hits everything. Hits all those pipes, and oh, I mean that looked really good for Freak the Process briefly, but just Elacor turns it out.
Well, I mean, you can't freak out about it though, right? It's still not bad. It's still the mid fight in their hand. They get the point to start the round off with, I suppose. Maybe that's just enough here to turn this back around, but it's slowing down for sure. And so far, the Frenchies have been looking pretty good in the situations. We'll see if that might change here. For now, Sniper certainly has not shown its face. It's just a big bomb by Slash, and Patchouli just eaten alive right after. They get Slash, they get Dynamic. There's some valuable players missing around, but Emma getting in there to get the damage going, and the medic just walks right over the scout, doesn't get the kill, but what's Hemp supposed to do before taking the pack first? And by that point, by the time he's healthy again, the fight is long over already. The Met went down, everyone else died trying to save it. Jordy and Hemp just have to go home empty-handed, and not even that actually. Scar escorts him nicely back all the way to the spawn, where the rest of his team will probably wait for him with open arms, consoling for the massive L they've just taken.
Yeah, unfortunate stuff. I mean, that kill onto Patchouli was a super long-range rocket from Jordy. It was pretty crazy. But they're trying to move in, they're trying to muscle their way in. Don't think they have the players here. They do have Pandemic, they do have ALX, but the high ground position for the Frenchies should be enough.
Really, it's time. This is produced to carry for the medic, and they fear. They're falling back early here. The spawn's just a little bit faster for Trust the Process to get in there. And they have just full confidence on that one. They like just recommitting into the mid fight on Snakewater, and you know what? It's working out more than it is, so can you blame them for taking these refights? Slight disadvantage even. I doubt that will matter, but the Nemo spawn not being here yet probably will.
Yeah, they do a really good job of just playing it slow until the soldiers are ready to engage, and Geordie's impressing me really so much with his timing. He's just changing up his timings pretty much every play, just making something different happen. But the French blob is just roaming through Saw at the moment. They pick up Geordie and Slash. They're going to walk into mid as well. Everyone's stuck in kitchen here for frag the process, and they're getting fragged themselves. The Uber is forced out of Doughy. They're still on the chase here, the Frenchies. Doughy is in a slippery, a skittish situation. He's backing up. He's keeping himself alive just about, with Patchouli
just around the corner, tries to get to the medic, misses the rockets though. He's a second early and just can't quite get the kill on the medic that they were looking for. In return, Scar goes in as well, tries so desperately to do the same. Doughy does in fact take damage, surfs with a little hop back out into lobby, but they're not done yet. They actually do not want to fall back on second. They are still having some faith on this one, and I mean, with how the round is looking right now, they need to as well. They need to come back on this one, but it looks like with Sorters down, they don't stand much of a chance anymore.
Yeah, Alex wants to shut them down, but he's got an Uber in his face now. Jumps to spawn, just about. Nice buddy bind coming in, but there's no one to block the cap here. And it's going to be an easy cap for the Frenchies. They go 3-1 up, no soldiers were in, and they are punished really harshly for that mistake.
It's all surprising in a way how the good things on this last push never really happened on any of the ones in process they had. They are looking so good, making space the last few times they had the last push going. This one, I guess, was much easier in comparison anyway, but just making the space to get Captain going just was not as easy for them on the last map, so things are starting to look right on the last point for players we know are very good and finally getting to show us as well what they are so highly regarded, I suppose. Finally, it's all working out a little bit more here. Still a long ways off from being over, but maybe just the process can make them pay for even thinking they had this in fact.
Yeah, they want to get forward here, the Frenchies. They're just punishing everyone as they're trying to leave. A nice kill from Geordie onto Scar, but that's going to be just about it. And everyone else is backing up. Doughy and Empire going to have to back up. They're going to keep themselves alive. They're going to retain Uber at least in their hand. Doughy actually coming up to it just about now, but already the Frenchies are peeking in through that big door, seeing who's on last. All the spawners are up now for frag the process, so they are going to, at least get a hold up. They want to get this set up, but actually,
Alright, what? 4-1 it is, match point. I held back after the mid-fight of just yelling it's over, but it might be over. This is what I would like to call the good classic someone broke the team moment, where Trusted 2038 reached breaking point of Trusted Process, and now there's just no turning back anymore. This was a close game for however long it was now, I guess, with the golden cap in mind, but it is over now.
yeah, callback Scar do get cleaned up on this mid-fight. The Freak the Process boys want to push forward, want to look and maybe bring this back into contention, but 3 rounds down, 5 minutes left. It's going to be a tough ask. Elacor goes very, very low though. They want to continue pressuring Alex and going to punish Elacor, but the crit is out for Hammer. He does get the force out, but not before a couple of players have been fragged in his favour. Hammer's going to scoot away from the demo damage incoming. He's going to find a pick onto Pandemic as well. Hammer doing so much work. Geordie very, very low as well, and they're just going to sandwich Doughy. No escape from him. And the Frenchies are ascendant. They move
oh no,
on
Amber stole someone's gold scattergun as well. This should be at this point. So, quick summary for anyone that just missed it. Jordy got like 2 or 3 kills in lobby. They tried to push out, and as it is on Snakewater last, if you push out, you lose the round, I guess. So that's about what you missed. It was entertaining, but I guess we've seen it a million times. So, not too big a deal here. What is important now, it's match point with 4 minutes left. Across the process, wants to win this one. They got to go like Super Saiyan many numbers mode. Funny color.
Omega Beast mode, but it's Omega walk into Scar. Eventually they do clean him up, but they've lost both their soldiers for it. They're trying to move in towards mid here, but the crit is out onto Elacor. The Hemp cleans him up before that can be done with.
Look at it! Comic just kind of guesstimates that it's going to connect with like the wall behind him, but just a direct rocket on the medic. Doughy took like 600 damage from that thing. And then Pandemic is just still the best scout on the server, so unlucky, never mind. Oh, no, actually Patchouli's the best scout on the server, I take that back.
Patchouli's the best medic with that Uber saw, and he finds a nice little pick, and he gets 90% crit streak with the help of that saw up as well. Elacor wants to put them in the bin, wants to get this over and done with. Crits in towards Doey. Doey's skipping away from all of them. He can't skip away from Ammer's crits though. The laser beam scout is more than enough to clean him up, but it's not more than enough to win the round. It seems that the freaking Process boys have been able to stabilise, although they launched the Scout Nevo onto the point he won't be able to cap. But with 3 minutes left, we're probably done and dusted here.
You know, Alako had a great game and all. He just missed like everything on that crit kick in a deeply humanizing moment. Immediately after he missed everything, he just aggressively was shaking his mouse in disappointment as well. Just like, what am I doing? But in the end, I mean, this is pretty much over by this point, right? They have one in the back, get the pyro that's on the mid for some reason, who knows why. Things just happening at this point. Scars on Spy just trying his best, but to no avail. I think everyone's well aware we'll be having 2038 in Premiership. I mean, I guess they were the favorites to take this one. By God, did they have to work for this one.
Yeah, and even in what is maybe garbage time now that we're moving into, they haven't took their foot off the pedal at all. Alex wants some more frags, wants some more damage on his logs, but it's going to allow Nevo just to run in, kill Doey. It's going to get traded out, but very, very scrappy, very unimportant stuff. And we even have Slash on Spy.
That is one too many Frenchies on this server.
The Spy players have been very lackluster, I have to say, in this game.
Well, 7 Frenchies, you'd expect better, but I guess, well, sometimes it is what it is, I guess. At least the Devil Sniper, seeing as he's on the server right now, has been pretty good this game. I think even in his first season in Premiership, he already sniped quite a bit and was pretty good, and still got it. Man's just nice with the sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Is Elacor on this
Scottish resistance without from Elacor getting 1 kill for that.
I mean, think about it, if 8 stickies are good, how good are 16 of them?
Is it 16? I thought it was 14.
I don't know, I guess it's 14, I don't know, I guess it's double. That would make more sense.
If you played the game, you would know how many stickies were in the Scottish resistance.
That's what I get for not being on Scottish resistance all the time. Well. One thing is for sure, next season Premiership, we once again enter the French dimension. We have 2.5 French teams in Premiership again, between 4 pens, 2038, and League of Shadows as well, I suppose. So, there's no escaping the French, I guess.
Yeah, and until they play each other, they will both always be called the Frenchies, in my mind at least, in my casts.
Okay, well, in all fairness sake, right? This is about the most pronounceable French team names we had on more than one team at a time. In a long time. There's usually always the one that was awful. Granted, that usually was Olga and Raf's fault. But it's nice to see that Alien isn't carrying the torch on that one anymore.
Yeah, one of them is basically an English word and one of them is a number, so there we go. But either way, we do see 2038 are going to win the Snakewater map, win the tie overall and get themselves into Prem.
Yeah, I suppose the expected outcome in some ways, but by no means the expected way to get there, and I just hope for Trust the Process that they have this energy going into the one as well. They're going to need it. It's not going to be easy down there either, so more gaming like we've seen map 1, and they might have a good chance to come out the better for it. Maybe next season they won't have to qualify at all.
Maybe. That's, always aspiration. Win Div 1, you don't have to qualify. Very, very nice. But yeah, as you say, very tough opposition there, and obviously tough opposition awaits 2038 as well in Prem. A lot of strong teams, a lot of teams returning from last season. I mean, they looked good at times tonight. You really feel with the quality of players they have, if they can just, elevate themselves for long enough. There were moments where just Elacor beasted, there were moments where Callback stepped up, but I don't know, overall they're not a smooth machine just yet, are they?
It's not quite what it was cracked up to be, I suppose, but we know they can do it, right? That's really the key takeaway from here, right? It's hard to fill the void that AZN left behind, I suppose, but they gotta have to try and do it. And I'm sure a scout duo like Emma and Neville will be able to do that without much of an issue. In fact, mean, just look at the numbers, right? I mean, wow. This is it's like he never really left in the first place, looking at the logs. So, I mean,
Yeah.
hey, I mean, they're doing just fine, I think.
Amarok with the AZN style logs coming in. 42 and 10. Top damage as well on the server with the Sky.
Okay, well, I mean, if you take 28% of the heals, I guess you better be able to deliver a little bit for it in return. He's getting the kills, he's also getting the damage. Alaku is getting less kills, but a whole lot of damage as well. So heals well spent, I suppose. And yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it before the map started, right? I don't know how much this map specifically really favors the like Jordy Waddle playstyle as well that we've seen last map. There's maps I think it can really work on. Frost is one of them. Gully, I believe, as well. Snakewater, I would have been surprised by it as well, with just how the like connecting areas are laid out a lot of the time. And unsurprisingly, it's Dewo and it's Scout instead taking all the heals. Jordy taking a bit of a backseat in this one. And it still wasn't good enough to adjust the playstyle here to take the win in the end.
And as always with the French team, you're not sure exactly which soldier is playing Pocket, which is playing Roma. I think it was called back on Roma, right?
He did last map for sure. Yeah, they took about equal heals just now, so it really just was a matter of circumstance, I suppose. This map, who ended up where at this point, but I mean, it worked, and that's all that matters right now. Who cares about a Pocket or a Roma? If you have two good soldiers that are just where they need to be, that's all that really matters. And as long as you have a scout with you that is as good as ammo, I guess, then you'll be fine, Sematic. You don't have to fear anything at all.
Yeah, you could pump so many heals into Ellicor, so many heals into Amarok. Soldiers don't have to take as much, and yeah, it definitely played out for them on that map. Even saw quite a lot of crit streaks. Always nice to see.
Okay, well, the last one doesn't count. The one,
Yeah.
granted, the game started with one, so I mean, I see what you're saying, but the last one doesn't count.
I mean, all the frags and damage from the last 5 minutes don't really count with these logs, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, it just helps make yourself look better in future stats comparisons, I guess. That's still good, of course. And yeah, I guess we'll see what comes of it. That being said, Prep qualies aren't quite over yet. Like we said at the beginning of the stream, 2 teams make it through to qualify for Premiership, but only one of these 2. The other one will be decided tomorrow. I don't think we have a match page ready for it, but it will be Comedy Shorts Gaming CSG against Swift. Once again, a team stacked of Premiership talent has to go up against just a squad that picked up the good fight from last season's Div 1 going into this qualifying race here. Swift changed up a little bit. We obviously seen them at LAN, but it's a very different roster in many ways, still being the most Turkish it's ever been, I think, as well, actually, looking at it. Gergi and Mag? That's crazy. It's like the most Turkish team outside of a full 6-stack they've ever seen.
Pretty nuts stuff. I gotta be honest, I zoned out slightly while you were saying all that, but did we go through that there's the game coming up tomorrow?
Yes, CSG will be going up against Swift. CSG is a scary looking roster. They had like a complete steamroll of the game as well the other day, so it's gonna be a tough fight for Swift to take. They're gonna have to try, but you can catch it here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments what was your favorite kill with timestamp, please. Thank you.
Very, very nice. Okay, I've been Dave, joined by Dave, aka DuMmTm, and JMax was behind the camera. Good night.